Govinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 5, Chapter 16, text. Are you all able to hear me all right?
Yes. Yes, we are able to hear you properly.
Thank you. Thank you. Tatrapi Priyavrata Rathacharana Parikhate Saptabi Sapta.
Tatra api priyavrata ratha charana parikhate saptabhi sapta
Sindhav Upkalta Yata Etasya Saptadvipa Vishesha Vikalpastavaya.
Sindhava upkalpayita etasya saptadvip vishesh vikalpatvoya.
Bhagavan Khalu Shuchit Etad Evakhilam Aham Manato Lakshanatash.
Bhagavan kalu suchita etat ekam aham
manato lakshanatas
Cha sarvam vijigyasami.
cha
sarvam
sarvam
vijigyasami.
vijignasami.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, the rolling wheels of Maharaj Priyavrat's chariot created 7 ditches in which the 7 oceans came into existence. Because of these 7 oceans, Bhumandal is divided into 7 islands. You have given a very general description of their measurement, names, and characteristics. Now I wish to know of them in detail. Kindly fulfill my desire. So, Parikshit Maharaj wants to have more detailed information about this, the 7 islands of Bhumandal, which Maharaj Priyavrat divided by his chariot. Bhagavato gunamaye sthularupa aveshitam manohi agunepi.
Bhagavato gunamaye sthula rupe aveshitam manohi gune api
Sukshamatma atma jyotishi pare brahmani bhagavati vasudevakhaye.
Sukshmate
Atman
Atmajyotishi
Jyotishi Pare
Parimani
Brahmani
Bhagavad
Bhagavati
Vasudev
Vasudeva
Akhe
Tamam aveshitam tad uhetad guroharsi anuvarnaitum iti.
Shamam
Shamam
Aveshitum Tat
Aveshitam Tatu
Etat
Etat
Guru Arhasi
Rasi
Anuvarnayati.
Anuvarnaitum Iti.
When the mind is fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his external feature, made of the material modes of nature, the gross universal form, it is brought to the platform of pure goodness. In that transcendental position, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who, in his subtler form, is self-effulgent and beyond the modes of nature. O my Lord, please describe vividly how that form, which covers the entire universe, is perceived. Maharaj Parikshit had already been advised by his spiritual master, Shukadeva Goswami, to think of the universal form of the Lord. And therefore, following the advice of his spiritual master, he continuously thought of that form. The universal form is certainly material, but because everything is an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimately nothing is material. So Sukadev Goswami had spoken of the universal form, he had asked Maharaj Parikshit to concentrate on the universal form of the Lord. Universal form of the Lord is material because it's like, the placement of the material planets, and we understand how the abdomen is the ocean, clouds are the hair on his head. So it's like material. But since everything is coming from God, then ultimately nothing is material. It's our thought process, our consciousness. When we are thinking something which is separate than God, it is not related to God. That's what makes it material. And when we can understand that everything is coming from God, like the pure devotees, even though they are in the material world, Prabhupada would say, I'm in Vrindavan. I'm not seeing New York City. I'm seeing Vrindavan. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj's mind was saturated with spiritual consciousness. Srila Rupa Goswami has stated, Prapanchikatya buddhaya parisambandhi vastuna mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. Everything, even that which is material, is connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is real renunciation, when we can understand everything belongs to God. So everything should be engaged in His service. This is proper renunciation. When we say, oh, I'm going to renounce the world, nothing belongs to me, I don't want anything, that is artificial renunciation, because anyway, nothing belongs to us. Everything, in fact, belongs to God. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur translates this verse as follows. Hari sevaya yaha haya anukul vishaya baliya tahar tyage haya bhur. One should not give up anything connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking it material or enjoyable for the material senses. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying that one should not give up anything connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking it material or enjoyable for material senses, because everything connected with God is spiritual. So whatever we are seeing actually belongs to God. When we think that it is separate from God, that is what is Maya, illusion, material. Even the senses, when purified, are spiritual. And Maharaj Parikshit was thinking of the universal form of the Lord, his mind was certainly situated on the transcendental platform. Therefore, although he might not have had any reason to be concerned with detailed information of the universe, he was thinking of it in relationship with the Supreme Lord. And therefore, such geographical knowledge was not material but transcendental. So someone may think, oh, why is Maharaj Parikshit asking so much detail about the universe? It's material information. After all, he's going to die, and why is he wanting to know about the universe, This is all material. But Maharaj Parikshit is connecting it to Krishna. So his consciousness is not material. He's glorifying the Lord. That's when Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 20, Narad Muni said, Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetara. The entire universe is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although it appears different from Him. So, entire universe is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although it appears different from Him. So someone may say, oh, God has become the universe, so now God doesn't exist anymore because He's become the universe. No, He's still a person. This universe is His energy. The mother is giving birth to a child. It doesn't mean the mother and father don't exist anymore. They still exist. So that's such a crude example. On the material platform already we can see it. Then how God cannot exist? This material universe is his energy. He's created it by his energy. So therefore, although Parikshit Maharaj had no need for geographical knowledge of this universe, that knowledge was also spiritual and transcendental, because he was thinking of the entire universe as an expansion of the energy of the Lord. So we may think, oh, no, this is material. I don't need to know material. I need to know only spiritual. But if we can understand it is Krishna's energy, then it becomes spiritual, not material. That how great Krishna is, how great God is, how great is, as we say, omnipotent he is. In our preaching work also, we deal with so much property and money and so many books bought and sold. But because these dealings all pertain to the Krishna consciousness movement, they should never be considered material. That one is absorbed in thoughts of such management does not mean that he is outside of Krishna consciousness. If one rigidly observes the regulative principle of chanting 16 rounds of the Mahamantra every day, his dealings with the material world for the sake of spreading the Krishna consciousness movement are not different from the spiritual cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that ISKCON as a movement, there is so much management to be done. It's not easy. It's a very big organization with so many temples there, so many people, so much management, so much money, so much books, so many books. They're being bought, they're being sold. So Prabhupada is saying one should not think that this is material. Because it's for Krishna, it's all spiritual. As long as one is chanting one's rounds, observing the regulative principles, then he is cultivating his Krishna consciousness. Because one may say, oh, no, that management means material. I don't want to manage. Oh, but it is because it is spreading Krishna consciousness. So one is cultivating his spiritual consciousness. Is that okay?
Yes. So what they're trying to say here is, Hare Krishna, what they are
Yes. Hare.
trying to say here is that everything we should use in service of Krishna, right? Like how Srila Prabhupada used, how he instructed.
Yes.
And then Vishwaroop is that whatever we see, then we should think of Krishna in that. Like if we see the clouds, then we should say that it's Krishna's hair, right? That's
Yes.
also the thing to say. That everything is
Yes.
Krishna. If you think it's separate, then we are misguided or right. That's what
Yes.
they're trying to point out here.
Yes.
But that is this inferior energy, right? I mean,
The
correct?
material
Krishna's
energy.
inferior energy.
Yes.
Is it called external? Is it inferior? Is it called
Yes.
inferior?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. From Krishna's point of view, there is no superior or inferior because it's his energy.
This energy.
From
Okay. So
our
they
point
call
of view, because we make a distinction, we think that this is not belonging to Krishna, so becomes illusion for us, becomes
Yes, I don't understand that. Why is it called inferior and superior? Because
okay,
the
so for
material.
our understanding, for our understanding. Now, why it is inferior? Because these elements, earth, water, air, fire, ether, they are not conscious.
Okay.
We, the spirit soul, we are conscious. That's why
Okay.
it's called inferior.
Okay.
Yeah. And because we have this, we have forgotten that everything belongs to God. So, we have to gradually begin to understand that, oh, everything is belonging to God. First of all, we have to understand that we are not these elements. Otherwise, we are thinking we are the body, right? But we have to understand, oh no, the body is made up of these elements, whereas I am the spirit soul. So there is a difference between these elements, between the body and me. I'm spirit soul. We have to understand that, oh, where the elements are coming from, where is the soul coming from? Oh, everything is coming from God. It's just different energies of God. But we are completely forgotten. We are in our own world, you know. Does that make sense?
Yes. So for that reason, the Mahatattva, right, was created because we have forgotten.
Yeah, because we want to be in a place,
we want
the
to
Mahatattva is
enjoy.
created. Yeah, we want to be in a place where we can enjoy separate from God. So for that. So the material energy is also eternal because she's Krishna's energy after all. And Krishna says, Devi hi Gunamai. He says divine energy. This energy of mine is divine because she's Krishna's. So yeah, Prabhupada would explain saying that, you know, the electric power is coming from the powerhouse. It's the same, but now we are using something as AC, something as heater. So the effect is different, but the energy is the same. So the origin of all energy is the spiritual energy. But now we want to enjoy separate from Krishna. So then we are put into this forgetfulness. So the same energy now she has become Mahamaya for us. So reading on Rishi Vachan.
Rishi Uvacha.
Nave Maharaj Bhagavato Maya Guna Vibhute Kashtham Manasam.
Nave Maharaja Bhagavato Maya Gun Vibhuti Kashtam Manasa
Vachasa Vadhigantum Alam Vibhudhyayus Shapi Purushas Tasmat.
Vachasava Adhigantum Alam Vibudha Ayusha Api Purusha Tasmat
Radhan Yeneva Bhuloka Vishesham Nama Rupa Mana Lakshanto Vyakhyasayamaha.
Pradhyam Eva Bholo Vishesham Nama Rupa Mana Lakshanta Vyakhyayasma.
The great Rishi Sukadev Goswami said, my dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Yet, no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. Okay, I shall nevertheless try to explain to you the principal regions, such as Bhulok, with their names, forms, measurements, and various symptoms. The material world is only 1/4 of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's creation, but it is unlimited and impossible for anyone to know or describe, even with the qualification of a life as long as that of Brahma, who lives for millions and millions of years. So we have to see. We are saying the material world is 1/4 of the Lord's entire creation. The spiritual world is 3/4. Now the spiritual world is always expanding because it's spiritual. So it's unlimited. There's no limit to it. So similarly, the material world is also always expanding because it's 1/4 of the 3/4. So 3/4 is always expanding. So this 1/4 is also always expanding. And inconceivable, right? Inconceivable. This is how the glories of the Lord are inconceivable. So it's not possible for everyone, anyone, any material conditioned soul to describe it. Modern scientists and astronomers try to explain the cosmic situation and the vastness of space, and some of them believe that all the glittering stars are different suns. From Bhagavad Gita, however, we understand that all these stars, nakshatras, are like the moon, in that they reflect the sunshine. They are not independent luminaries. So here Shukadev Goswami, he himself is saying that I'm not qualified to explain completely, but I can explain to whatever degree I can. Bhulok is explained to be that portion of outer space through which the heat and light of the sun extend. Therefore, it is natural to conclude that this universe extends in space as far as we can see and encompasses the glittering stars. Srila Shukadev Goswami admitted that to give full details of this expansive material universe would be impossible. But nevertheless, he wanted to give the king as much knowledge as he had received through the Parampara system. We should conclude that if one cannot comprehend the material expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one certainly cannot estimate the expansiveness of the spiritual world. So we are not able to completely understand the material world, then how we will be able to understand the spiritual, with our material senses? How? So we hear. That's why the process is we receive this knowledge. It's coming from God Himself. He is giving this knowledge. And Brahma Samhita 5:33 confirms this. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha. The limits of the expansions of Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot be estimated by anyone, even a person as perfect as Brahma. Not to speak of tiny scientists whose senses and instruments are all imperfect and who cannot give us information of even this one universe. We should therefore be satisfied with the information obtainable from Vedic sources, as spoken by authorities like Shukadev Goswami. Yovayam Dvipa Kubalya Kamal Kosha Bhayantar Kosho Niyutra.
Yovayam Dvipa Kuvalaya
Kuvalaya Kamala Kosha
Abhayantar Kosho
Yojan Vishala Samavartulo Yatha Pushkar Patram.
Yojana Vishala
Vishala
Samavartulo Yatha
Yatha Pushkar Patram.
Patram.
The planetary system known as Bhumandal resembles a lotus flower, and its 7 islands resemble the world of that flower. The length and breadth of the island, known as Jambūdvīpa, which is situated in the middle of the world, are 1 million yojanas, 8 million miles. Jambūdvīpa is round like the leaf of a lotus flower. So Bhumandal is like a lotus flower, and Bhumandal, Priyavrat had made the 7 islands. So they resemble the whorl of that flower, and the length and breadth of the island known as Jambūdvīpa. So the whorl, now the middle of that whorl, so in the center is Jambūdvīpa. It's surrounded by these 7 islands. And Jambūdvīpa is 8 million miles, 1 million yojanas. And Jambūdvīpa is round. Okay. Yasmin Navavarshani Navayojan Sahasrayamani Ashtabhim.
Yasmin Navavarshani Navayojan Sahasra Ayamani Ashtabhi.
Maryada Giridhi Subhibhaktani Bhavanti.
Maryada Giribhi Subhi Bhaktani Bhavanti.
In Jambūdvīpa, there are 9 divisions of land, each with a length of 9,000 yojanas, 72,000 miles. There are 8 mountains that mark the boundaries of these divisions and separate them nicely. So there's Jambūdvīpa is divided in 9 parts. Each is having 9,000 yojanas. And there are 8 mountains, which are the boundaries, the divisions between this. There's 9 lands. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following quotation from the Vayu Puran, wherein the locations of the various mountains beginning with the Himalayas are described. Dhanurvat samstite gye ve varshe dakshinottare dirghani tatra chatvari chaturasram ilavratam iti dakshinottare bharatatora kuru varshe chatavri kim purusha harivarsha ramya kahiranmayani varshani nila nishadhayos tirashini bhuya samudra pravishtayo samlagnavatam agnikritya bhadrashva ketumalayot apidhanur akrititvam atastayor derghayata eva madhye sankuchitatvena nava sahasrayamavatam ilavartasya tumero saksha chaturdikshu nava sahasrayamavatam sambhavet vastu tastva ilavratam bhadrashva ketumalalanam chatustrimshat sahasrayamadvajam neyam. So this is Prabhupada is given the quotation of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur from Vayu Puran. So to understand, Jambūdvīpa is there right in the middle of this Bhumandal. And then it has 9 divisions. And what are how they are divided by these mountains. And each division is 9,000 yojana. Esham madhye lavratam nama bhayantara varsham yasya nabhayam.
Esham madhye ilavrittam nama abhayantar varsham yasya nabhyam.
Avastita sarvata savarna kula giri rajo meru dvipayam.
Avasthita sarvata savarna kulagiri meru dvip ayama.
Samonaha karnika bhuta kuvalya kamalasya murdhani dva.
Samutraha karnika bhuta kuvalaya kamalasya murdhani dva.
Trimshat sahasra yojana vitato mole shodasha sahasram tavat antarbhumyam pravishtaha.
Twimshata sahasrayojan vitata mule shodasha sahasram tavat antah bhumayam pravishta.
Amidst these divisions or varshas is the varsh named Ilavrat, which is situated in the middle of the whirl of the lotus. Within Ilavrat Varsh is Sumeru mountain, which is made of gold. So there are these divisions. We read there were 9 divisions, and in the middle is Ilavrat. And in Ilavrat there is Sumeru mountain, which is made of gold. Sumeru mountain is like the pericarp of the lotus-like Bhumandal planetary system. The mountain's height is the same as the width of Jambūdvīpa, or in other words, 100,000 yojanas, 800,000 miles. So the Sumeru mountain is as high as wide of Jambūdvīpa, 100,000 yojanas, 800,000 miles. Of that, 16,000 yojanas, 128,000 miles are within the earth, and therefore the mountain's height above the earth is 84,000 yojanas, 672,000 miles. So 84,000 yojanas is above the earth. The mountain's width is 32,000 yojanas, 256,000 miles at its summit, and 16,000 yojanas at its base. So yeah, so it looks like, I don't know, the mountain's width, they are saying at the summit, means the peak is 32,000, but the base is 16. I don't know, how does that? Looks like bigger on the top then, and thinner down. That's what I'm able to think like that. That it's wider up. Usually mountains we see they are wide down and then they go tapering up, right? It's writing mountains which is 32,000 yojanas at its summit and 16,000 yojanas at its base. Anyway.
Because
Upside
they
down.
said that it's under the earth. Also, they mentioned that it is it's also beneath the earth.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
Yeah.
why that you at there. And what is this? Ilavrat is the verse and Jambudvip is the place, right?
Jambūdvīpa, this whole thing. Yeah. In
Yeah, the
Bhumandal,
Jambudvip is
the middle is Jambūdvīpa. Now in Jambūdvīpa,
yeah.
the middle is Ilavrat.
Okay, okay. The middle part
And
is Ilavrat.
yeah, and in this Ilavrat, there is a Sumeru mountain.
Okay, okay, yes, perfect.
Mm. Uttarottarene lavritam nila Bhagavatam.
उत्तरेण इलावृतं नीलश्वेत शृङ्गवान् त्रयरमयक.
Hare Krishna.
Because,
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
now
we could hear you.
Hiranmay Kurunam Varshanam Maryada Giraya Prag Ayata
Hiranyamani naam varshanam maryada giraya prag ayata.
Ubhyata Sharoda Vadhayo Dvisahasra Prithav Ekaikashaha
Ubhayato sharoda
Sarodavadyo
yode visahasra prithak
Dvisasaptava
ekasha.
Purvasmat Uttaro Dasham Shadhikamshena Dergya Eva Rishanti
Purvasmat
uttaro
Uttaro
dasha amsha adik amshena
Adhikakshena
dergaya
Devya
eva harshanti.
just north of Ilavatrush and going further northward, one after another, are three mountains named Nil, Shwet, and Shringavan. These mark the borders of the three Varshas named Ramyak, Hiranmaya, and Kuru, and separate them from one another. The width of these mountains is 2,000 yojanas, 16,000 miles. Lengthwise, they extend east and west to the beaches of the ocean of salt water. Going from south to north, the length of each mountain is 1/10 that of the previous mountain, but the height of them all is the same. In this regard, Madhvacharya quotes the following verses from the Brahmanda Purana. Yatha Bhagavate Tuktam Bhavanam Kosha Lakshanam Tasya Virodhato Yojyam Anya Grantantare Sthitam Mandode Puranam Cheva Vyatyasam Shirasagare Rahu Som Ravinam Cha Mandaladvi Gunoktitam Vineva Sarvam Unneyam Yojana Vedatotratu. It appears from these verses that aside from the sun and moon, there is an invisible planet called Rahu. The movements of Rahu cause both solar and lunar eclipses. We suggest that the modern expeditions attempting to reach the moon are mistakenly going to Rahu. So Brahmanda Puran is also, they're saying there is also this planet called Rahu. And when the eclipse comes, it's because of this Rahu, the planet. And that maybe people have actually gone to Rahu instead of another planet, you know. So anyway, there are these mountains and every mountain is 1/10 less in height, but the height, no, in length. In length is 1/10 less than the previous, but the height is the same. So we are in a very technical part of the universe. Evam dakshine lavratam nishado hemkuto himalaya iti prag.
Evam dakshine ilavratam nishido hemakuta himalaya iti prak.
Ayata yatha niladyo yojano seda harivarsha kim purusha.
Ayat yatha nil adayo ayuto yojan seda harivarsha kim
Varshakim
purusha.
Purusha.
Bharatanam Yatha Sankhyam.
Bharatanam yatha sankyam.
Similarly, south of VedasVerseDaily and extending from east to west are three great mountains named from north to south, Nishad, Hemakutta, and Himalaya. Each of them is 10,000 yojanas, 80,000 miles high. They mark the boundaries of the three Varshas named Harivarsha, Kimpurushvarsha, and Bharatvarsh, India.
One question, that the name Bharatvarsh is also already there in the Puranas, right? Because it says that it marks the three
Yeah,
Varshas, right? So the name is
yeah,
already there.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Bharatvarsh is there.
Okay. So these are the three lands, right? Different. In
Yeah,
Jambūdvīpa, then in Ilavrat, then they are there in Ilavrat, the Bharat Varsha, and Kimpurusha Varsha and Hari Varsha, right?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Tathai Velavratam aparena purvena cha malyavat gandhamadana.
तथा एव
तथैवेलावृतम् अपरेण
पूर्वेण
पूर्वेण
च
च
माल्यवद्गन्धमादनो
Anila nishadhayato dvisahasram praprathatu ketumalam.
आनीलनितो आयतो
आनीलनिस्सलायतो
द्विसहस्रं
विसहस्रं
प्रपृच्छतु
प्रपततु
केतुमालभद्राशयो. Sorry.
Bhadrashavayo simanam vidadhate.
भद्राशवयो
भद्राश्वयो
नम
सीमान्
विदधाते.
विदधाते.
In the same way, west and east of Ilavratvarsh are two great mountains named Malyavan and Gandhamadan, respectively. These two mountains, which are 2,000 yojanas, 16,000 miles high, extend as far as Nil Mountain in the north and Nishad in the south. They indicate the borders of Ilavratvarsh and also the Varshas known as Ketumala and Bhadrashva. There are so many mountains even on this planet Earth. We do not think that the measurements of all of them have actually been calculated. While passing over the mountainous region from Mexico to Caracas, we actually saw so many mountains that we doubt whether their height, length, and breadth have been properly measured. Therefore, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami, we should not try to comprehend the greater mountainous areas of the universe merely by our calculations. Sukadeva Goswami has already stated that such calculations would be very difficult, even if one had a duration of life like that of Brahma. We should simply be satisfied with the statements of authorities like Sukadeva Goswami and appreciate how the entire cosmic manifestation has been made possible by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The measurements given herein, such as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, should be considered correct because they have been given by Sukadeva Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. if we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will benefit us. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, even on earth itself, there are so many mountains that he doubts that people have actually correctly been able to measure them. So he's saying, instead of doubting what Sukadev Goswami is saying, if we can simply hear and try to appreciate that, wow, that God's material energy, how He's created this universe, if we can appreciate that, we are hearing numbers like 10,000 yojanas, 100,000 yojanas, can't even imagine how big it is. So Prabhupada is saying that will benefit us because we cannot verify what we are hearing, neither can we disapprove it. If we try to verify, it seems even life of one Brahma is not enough. And it's coming from authority, so how we can disapprove it? So let us just appreciate it, Prabhupada is saying. He's setting the mood in how to receive this information. What do you all think?
Yes, that's Krishna. So we
Hmm.
have to accept because that's how great he is. And this is just the 1/4. I mean, how great and how. So, like, how you say that, then you'll understand the greatness of Krishna. If you don't read these, then how will we know that how great he is?
Yeah. And this is just tiny portion
Yeah, just
of the
1/4.
material world. Not even
Yeah,
one
even
full
the
form
material.
of
Yeah,
it.
not
It's
even,
not
yeah.
even the full of
Yeah,
it that is being
yeah, yeah.
described. Just one portion of it is being described.
Yeah, agree.
So,
Wow.
yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah,
और भक्तवृंद की जय. Hare
yeah.
Krishna.